Okay, here's the deal. I know I'm not supposed to like this. I know you're supposed to just, not read the comments or let it go, whatever. Call it a character flaw if you want to. I relish it, okay? Especially when the points that are being made are so idiotic and easy to disprove and, laugh at. I don't know. I don't know why, okay? I like the conflict. When it comes to arguing with leftists, making fun of them, laughing at them, proving them wrong, I can't help it, all right? I mean, I can help it. I can. That's not the right... I shouldn't say that. I can, but I don't want to. On that note, the last video I made apparently ruffled some feathers, as you can imagine. I mean, I think most of them do whenever somebody that doesn't agree with me sees them. I think a lot of people mistake me for a leftist or a Democrat. Like when they first stumble across my other channel, they see what I do, the way that I live, and they think, oh, he's some leftist, I guess, because I don't have a traditional life, or I don't make traditional choices. I don't know what it is, okay? It's something about it, right? Like I think I get mistaken for this. It happens. So what will inevitably happen is, one of these people, they stumble across my link to this channel in the description. Oh, well, this ought to be interesting. I might get some reinforcement on my stupid beliefs, and then they go over to this channel. And well, those of you that follow me on this channel, you can imagine how that might go. The reason I bring that up is because I think that's what happened here. So this was a comment on the last video I made, the Putin-Tucker Carlson interview. I want to believe that English is not this person's first language. It's either that or the way they write embodies their way of thinking. Okay, dude, there is a simple question. Why should Ukraine be part of Russia if Ukrainian people don't want to be part of Russia? This isn't frustration on my part, don't get me wrong, it's genuine humor. That's what I feel when I read stuff like this, because if you watch the video and you pulled that from it, like, where did you get that? I'm saying that Ukraine should be part of Russia. I'm not Russian. I'm not pro-Putin. I'm not pro-Russia. Russia's not the good guy. I don't even live in Russia. I don't even live in Ukraine. I'm on the opposite side of the world. Like, how did you pull that? It gets better. I think Russia and Ukraine can do whatever they think is in their best interest. Case closed. That's how Baltics and other countries gained their independence. Ukrainian language is different from Russian, so how can Putin say they are the same people? He didn't say they were the same people. He actually said the opposite of them being the same people. He encompassed the entire region and all the other countries that had influenced and had lived on that land. So why are you thinking that that's what he was saying? It's almost as if you haven't watched the complete interview. And it's almost as if you're pulling these little talking points of yours from your favorite mainstream media critic, the ones that tell you what to think, because apparently that's how you think. Or if someone invaded USA, it would be just normal to defend the land. If Ukraine wants to defend itself and fight Russia, then Ukraine can do that. The US should not, because we are not being attacked by Russia. We're not even allies with Ukraine. So it has nothing to do with us. You watched the entire interview. Like, that's what you're getting from it? You watched my video? The entire thing? And that's what you're getting from it? That must suck to be you, man. If you like to look at both sides, then you should Google what historians says about Putin's version of history. What historians? Let me get this straight. I've been studying history for decades, and you want me to go look at certain historians, or which historians are we talking about? Because when you say historians, what I'm hearing, experts. What I've learned from multiple different sources that don't all say the same thing, as well as historical record and books. Instead of just going on CNN and getting your history from MSDNC, crack a book. Couldn't hurt, because we all know where the experts live, right? Yeah, mainstream media? Yeah, don't worry. The experts will keep you informed, buddy. They'll tell you exactly what they want you to think. All that talk about NATO expansion is also not as Putin says. Well, it may or may not be. Plus, anyway, another question. No, actually, this is the same topic. Why shouldn't countries join NATO? NATO's not expanding. according to you, but it should expand. What he's saying isn't happening, but it should happen. Okay? I'm gonna let you work that logic out for yourself. You need to stop and think about that one. Like, look at what Russia is doing. It's clear that to those countries next to Russia, joining NATO is only way how to have safety. Is that so? So what about the part where back in the 90s, Russia actually asked if they could become part of NATO and they were turned down? You know, because then they would be NATO, nobody would be threatened. How do we go from that to this idea that Russia is a loaded gun pointed at all the countries around them? Putin outlined the reasons as to why he invaded Ukraine, and he's having a hard enough time with that. So as far as invading other countries, you really think, just because you've been told that Russia is on the brink of invading NATO and invading Poland, and that makes sense to you. It does not make sense politically, it does not make sense economically, and it certainly doesn't make sense to the people of Russia. Why would you think that? Why would he do that? He said the only reason he would do that is if they attacked him first. Okay, who has attacked Russia? Who blew up the pipeline? Who is supplying his enemy with which they do not have any allyship at all? No, we are not allies with Ukraine, yet we are providing every single means that we possibly can to kill Russian soldiers. And he has still only kept the war contained to Ukraine. He has not threatened one other country around him. And we're all supposed to believe that he's some kind of warmonger. It's just going to start rolling over countries all over Europe. He literally said it in the interview. You say, be informed, but you are not informed. Okay, well, you know what? That's hilarious coming from you. I really don't know what else to say about that. So, you know, good luck with that. Just think Putin has managed to brainwash whole country. How do you know that you are not being brainwashed right now by following the rabbit hole of non-mainstream media? Bro, do you know what brainwashing is? That's a legitimate question because what you're describing is the opposite of that. Non-mainstream media are a bunch of very different points of view, very different takes on subjects. They are not all saying the same thing. That's what non-mainstream alludes to. As far as mainstream goes, the ones on the left say the same thing, the ones on the right say the same thing, what few there are. I trust Fox News as much as I trust CNN. But when you go to non-mainstream media, these are just people. These are American people. Some of them are smart, some of them not so much. But all of their views are going to differ slightly. They're sometimes radically different. Sometimes they're going to have completely different takes on the same situation. That's why I like non-mainstream, because they're just people. They're people like me. As small as this channel may be, I am non-mainstream media. I can tell you for a fact, the entire purpose, the entire point of this channel is that I give you my honest opinion. I don't go check my favorite commentators first before I make a video. My views and my opinions are mine. So as far as being brainwashed, what I'm talking about is the opposite of brainwashing. What I'm talking about is listening to disparate points of view and putting together your own views, your own opinions based off of what you've heard from these other places, what you know about the world, and what you know to be true, and knowing the difference between right and wrong. As far as brainwashing goes, don't worry about me. I'll be fine. Okay, on to the next thing. You guys have noticed the mainstream media recently, here we go again. They're being allowed to criticize former Vice President Joe Biden even more and more. And we've been seeing this for a while. Like, it seems like it'll hit little bumps, like they'll be allowed to hit him and then it goes quiet and then allowed to hit him again. It's either one or two things usually. It's either his son, right, his degenerate crack addict son, or the idea that he's not fit to lead. They trotted him out for this press conference, and I'm sure most of you have already seen, right? It did not go well. I mean, it was nighttime. He never does press conferences, rarely, if ever. It's almost like they led him to the slaughter again, and we've seen this happen before. I'm not gonna sit here and theorize about why that may be, right? Like, I think we all can come to a few simple conclusions as to why. That's all just speculation. And that's not really going to do us a whole lot of good at this point. I mean, you can speculate on anything at this point. I mean, this is going to be an interesting year. And I think we all know that, right? What I wanted to talk about was the fact that we're supposed to believe this, because this is how it's being presented, at least as far as I can tell, that it's shocking news and, oh wow, he has really gone downhill. Excuse me? I remember very clearly half of the country saying this before he was even elected. And we were trying to tell people, hey, he's a degenerate, demented sock puppet. He's basically an empty suit. He was a scumbag to begin with, okay? He was a degenerate scumbag politician before he ever became vice president. They expect us to believe that this is somehow new news. Oh, we're just now really seeing this? Bro, it's 3 years later. So you're gonna tell me that now we're just now seeing this, right? Like the DOJ is just now realizing this. The former doctor of his is just now able to see that, wow, you know, he's really gone downhill. It's the same thing, man. This is what we saw, and this is what we were saying 4 years ago. How do you not hear that as a leftist? How do you not see reality until you're told that you can see reality? Like, how does that brain work? I can't connect the dots on that. This kind of crap has been going on all 4 years, and now you're finally allowed to see it because you've been given permission? I mean, has it gotten worse? I don't know. Maybe. What up, Pan? You can say maybe it's gotten worse, maybe not, but it was extremely evident. And if it were not evident, what, half the country just predicts the future? How's that work? How did we know he was senile 4 years before you did? What, you think we got a crystal ball or something? Or maybe we can just see what's right in front of our eyes and we don't need to be given permission to see it and acknowledge it. Because that's the only thing I can think at this point. It's like they got released to be able to criticize him now. And you think that's how America's supposed to work? You think that's how freedom is supposed to work? This has been going on the entire time. As far as why they're doing it, I shudder to think. But if you couldn't see this for 4 years, and now suddenly the veil has been lifted, I don't know how to talk to people like that. Because we can't have a conversation if you can't see reality. I mean, that's just the way it is. Like, I don't know how to converse with that. There's nothing beneficial that's going to come from that. Yet, one more thing we were right about. Who would have thought it? We just getting that slow drip, man. Just keep on being proven right about everything that we said before. And to all the leftists out there, what, half the country? To them, it's all new news. We've been saying it. Then you told us we couldn't say it. And now suddenly you're allowed to say it so you can say it. I don't know how your brain is wired. If you're anything like me, waiting to be given permission by your government or by the commentators that you listen to say a thing, we're not wired that way. And those of you that are, you're doing it wrong. That's all I can tell you.